A buttload.
Hey, what's up? Do one of you have like 5 minutes to chat about how you got to your God belief? I'm just randomly interviewing people.
Or what?
God belief?
What is a God belief?
If somebody believes in a God, I'm really interested in talking to them to find out how they got to the belief.
Lay it on us.
Wait, leave the cookies, man.
Okay. No, it's cupcakes.
Oh.
Wait, how did I get to my belief?
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, so let's say.
I pretty much grew up with it, and then I came to own it for myself in a way.
How did you own it? How did you own it? Which God are we talking about first?
We're talking about Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior.
Okay. How strong are you on the belief? Let's say, hold on a second, let me give you a scale.
Okay.
What is your name?
Elizabeth.
I'm Anthony.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. 0% is I have no confidence that my belief is true. 100% is I have 100% confidence that my belief is true. And you can be anywhere in between.
Okay, it's a mix because on the one hand, I do believe that everything that Jesus said is true, but I have a hard time believing in parts of the rest of the Bible and the traditional Christian belief because it was God speaking to men. It was inspired by God, but it was written by men. And of course with men, you always have sin and you have, it may not, I don't feel like it could exactly be what God wanted to say if it was through men because we are all sinful. But I think that everything that Jesus said was completely true. I mean, everything that he said was recorded within 300 years of his life. And so,
how do you reconcile that on that belief scale then?
How do I reconcile that?
Yeah, can you assign a value to it? How confident are you that it's true?
I feel very close to God, so I think no matter how much I question, I'm doing my best and I'm using the brain that God gave me to determine what I believe is true. So I think that I'm very close to God still because of that, and I believe that maybe my belief in traditional Christianity isn't so strong, but my belief in God and Jesus as my Savior is very strong.
Let's unpack that. Like, how did you come to believe so strongly that it's true?
To believe that Jesus is true.
Yeah. How did you get to that point to say, I'm going with Jesus, and I know that it's Jesus
over other religions per se?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's only really one story that it tells you about a Savior that's forgiving. Actually, I mean, most religions are based on you living up to a certain standard and doing things the right way and following a set of rules, whereas with Jesus, I mean, you can mess up so many times and still be in him. Okay. So
there's a forgiveness aspect of it? Is that it?
The forgiveness aspect is what attracts me to it. Mm-hmm. But also, I mean, I don't even know if I can fully say that it's the complete truth. Because how can you ever know that even really, honestly?
Yeah.
I can feel it in my heart, but I know that there's people in other countries who feel their convictions just as strongly.
How could somebody go about determining which is the truth? Which is the truth? Which person is the more
I think it's part
correct.
Faith and it's part looking at the facts and checking your sources. Like me, I mean, I went back and looked at the Bible and was like, well, were people just writing this for the times, or was this something that actually Jesus said, and could it possibly be exactly what he said? Yeah. Because I can't trust it if it's not completely
You mentioned
true.
Faith and then this other aspect of it, verification, sounds like. So let's pie chart this. Like, what % of your belief to conclude that Jesus is real? Okay. We got about 2 minutes. And this guy's eating cupcakes over here. 1%. I don't know what he's saying. Where was I at?
Oh, what percent?
Yeah, let's pie chart this.
Jesus is true, and what percent? Okay, so
no. If we were to pie chart out, we were to take a cupcake, and we were going to portion it out. And this side of the cupcake was your faith, and the other side was
doubt.
No, was the verification that you do to conclude that the belief is real.
Oh, okay.
You said that it was faith and this verification that you do, and I want to get a sense of how much of it is faith and how much of it is this verification that you've done.
I think quite a bit of it is faith. I would say probably 75% to like. I would say 75% to like 25%.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, so I think faith is a huge part of it.
Can you define faith for me, Elizabeth? Do you have a definition of it? Like, how do you?
It's rather blind, actually. It's an adherence to a certain, I don't want to say ideology, but it's a certain belief and a certain way of life. And I think that's always important. whether or I think it's just important to have a set of values to follow. Having a structure for your life is almost always better than just kind of winging it.
Let's go back to faith. I really want to focus on it because it's such a huge part of your belief, and we're less than a minute. Is the method of faith to help you conclude that Jesus is the one, and you feel him in your heart and he's working in your life, is it a reliable method to determining if something is true or not?
I'm not sure. To a certain point, I think yes. But at the same time, no, because I know there's other people who feel convictions just as strongly about other things. Maybe there is a true feeling that you get whenever you meet Jesus, actually. Maybe it is different, but I wouldn't know. So I've been raised as a Christian my whole life. And I mean, I've gone back and done my fact checking, and yeah.
One last question.
Okay.
And you can leave, it's 5 minutes is over, so if you want to go, that's cool. If you're not sure how reliable the method of faith is to conclude that your God exists,
yes,
and it comprises of such a large portion of why you believe that that's the case, can you really be so strong on your belief scale? Should you really be so confident in your belief if faith is really maybe not so reliable of a method?
Yes, because personally I believe it's always good to follow a certain path and to do good, and that's the way that I do it. I choose to do it, whether or not all of me can believe that it's true.
Do you see any issues with going through life believing in something that may not necessarily be true, but you're just maybe believing in it because...
Yeah, that's why I use the 25% part to weigh that out. So
if we could have flipped that chart, if you had the option of flipping the chart to say, I've got 75% justification and I only need 25% faith. If you had the option of going with what you have now or that other variation, which one would you prefer?
Which one would I would prefer 75% verification and 25% faith. Personally.
Thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Yep.